Today, we're diving into a story that has rocked one of the most high-profile Christian ministry families in recent years. The Lamb family, known for their global reach and leadership within the Daystar network, is facing a public reckoning over allegations that have lingered for years, largely hidden behind carefully controlled narratives. At the center of this storm is an incident involving grandson-in-law Joshua Brown and a young granddaughter, a story that Joanie Lamb, the family matriarch, has long told in a very particular way. But now, a new voice has entered the narrative, one that changes the whole picture. Sylvia, the family's longtime housekeeper, has come forward with testimony that challenges Joni's public account and corroborates the version of events given by Susie and Jonathan Lamb, two family members who have faced enormous personal costs for speaking out. Sylvia's testimony is striking because it isn't just opinion or conjecture, it's based on what she directly observed. She was present during the key incidents, and her account contradicts Joni's carefully crafted narrative that painted Joshua Brown's actions as harmless and innocent. Joanie claimed that Brown simply followed the granddaughter upstairs to show her a view, framing it as an innocent, educational, even playful interaction during breakfast. But Sylvia's version tells a very different story. According to her, the critical moment happened after Susie had instructed the child to go change for swimming. Brown followed her upstairs at that precise moment, and what might seem like a small detail, the timing, completely alters the perception of intent. This is crucial because Jonie's defense hinges on framing Brown's actions as benign and pre-planned. By placing the city view discussion at breakfast and implying her proximity as an eyewitness, she created a narrative of innocence. Sylvia's testimony dismantles this, confirming that Joanie and her husband Marcus were actually in the basement during the critical events. This means that Joanie could not have directly witnessed the interaction she claimed to have seen. Her televised account, therefore, is challenged not only by timing and observation but by physical impossibility. She was simply not in a position to verify what transpired. Sylvia's courage to speak out cannot be overstated. This wasn't just a minor disagreement or family squabble. She risked her livelihood, standing up against the family she had served faithfully for years. The stakes were high. Speaking against Joanie Lamb meant jeopardizing her job, her security, and her professional reputation. Yet, she chose to act ethically, guided by principle rather than fear. She even drew a powerful analogy. If her own children had acted wrongly, she would not protect them at the expense of truth. This shows an extraordinary commitment to honesty and integrity, especially given the pressure to remain silent. What makes her testimony so compelling is the impartiality. Sylvia had no prior relationship or close bond with Susie Lamb, whose version she corroborates. This lack of personal involvement strengthens her account, making it an independent verification rather than a potentially biased perspective. She observed the sequence of events with clarity: the breakfast conversation about the city view, the instruction for the granddaughter to change for swimming, Joshua Brown following her upstairs, Susie's immediate alarm and call for Jonathan, and Brown's repeated apologies as he came back downstairs. Each of these details aligns with Susie's account and directly contradicts Jonie's version. The beach house incident is just the most visible flashpoint. Sylvia also described previous troubling behavior, including an incident at the pool when the granddaughter was around 3 years old. Brown, she reported, gave excessive, uncomfortable kisses to the child, a behavior that, to Sylvia, was alarming enough to remember vividly years later. Coupled with Susie's earlier allegation about the diaper incident, these accounts paint a broader, concerning pattern rather than isolated moments. It becomes clear that these were not random, harmless interactions, but part of a sequence of behavior that warranted attention and concern. The family's internal dynamics only complicate the picture further. Other members, like Rebecca and J.W., expressed concern, calling Brown narcissistic and dishonest. Yet, Joni's unwavering defense of him, despite these warnings, raises serious questions. Why protect him so fiercely? Sources speculate that Brown may have held leverage over Joni, allegedly claiming to possess a significant secret concerning her. Whether true or not, this possibility introduces a potential motive for cover-up that extends beyond loyalty. It suggests compromise or manipulation may have influenced Joni's public stance. For Jonathan and Susie Lamb, choosing truth over loyalty came at a tremendous cost. Jonathan, who was in line to assume leadership of Daystar, forfeited his expected role because he refused to publicly endorse Joni's claims. He sacrificed his career, family relationships, and future within the organization, demonstrating that ethical integrity can carry enormous personal consequences. Their refusal also reveals the pressure within the ministry to maintain appearances, protect reputations, and suppress inconvenient truths, pressures that can distort decision-making even among family members. Further complicating matters is Rachel Lamb, Joshua Brown's wife, who allegedly misrepresented the status of investigations, claiming that Brown had been exonerated when he had not. This deception added another layer of confusion and internal betrayal, creating a situation in which truth was obscured not only by Joni's narrative but by those closest to Brown. When combined with external challenges, such as allegations from Australia and potential hesitancy from local authorities to investigate, the story becomes a complex web of secrecy, loyalty, and influence. Sylvia's testimony, in contrast, acts as a stabilizing force. She confirms the timeline, the locations, and the behavioral patterns, providing an evidence-based perspective that grounds the narrative. By stepping forward, she shifts the story from conflicting accounts and speculation to a clear, factual reconstruction of events. Her observations show that the beach house incident was not a benign misjudgment, but a moment that aligned with a broader pattern of troubling behavior. The repercussions for Jonathan and Susie further underscore the difficulty of pursuing truth within such a powerful family and organizational structure. Financial and operational consequences for the ministry have also become evident. The sale of the family's former residence, the grounding or potential sale of the Daystar jet, and other asset movements suggest that these revelations have tangible effects on the ministry's operations. This demonstrates that internal conflicts, if left unresolved or mismanaged, can have consequences that ripple far beyond personal relationships, impacting organizational stability and financial integrity. The case raises broader questions about accountability in high-profile, closed institutions. When leadership prioritizes reputation over integrity, truth-telling relies heavily on courageous insiders or independent witnesses willing to take personal risks. Sylvia's account demonstrates the power of such testimony, but also the fragility of accountability when institutional incentives and pressures suppress or distort it. Without mechanisms for independent verification and protection for those who speak out, systemic risks remain, and ethical breaches may continue unchecked. In essence, the Lamb family story is a cautionary tale about loyalty, integrity, and the high stakes of truth-telling. Sylvia's testimony, Jonathan and Susie's courage, and the public exposure of discrepancies in the official narrative illuminate a complex intersection of family loyalty, organizational power, and moral responsibility. It demonstrates how a single independent voice can alter public perception, hold powerful figures accountable, and ensure that the truth comes to light, even when it challenges long-standing hierarchies and deeply held public images. At the center of this story is a stark lesson. Integrity can carry enormous personal cost, but it also provides the clarity and credibility that wealth, influence, or carefully crafted narratives cannot replicate. The Lamb ministry case, with all its public scrutiny, internal conflict, and ethical dilemmas, illustrates the challenges of maintaining accountability in environments where power, loyalty, and reputation often conflict with justice and truth. It also underscores the ongoing responsibility of observers, journalists, and the public to critically evaluate narratives, verify evidence, and recognize the sacrifices of those who speak out in the face of institutional pressure. Ultimately, the revelations from Sylvia, the corroboration of Susie Lamb, and the documented fallout for those who refused to participate in the cover-up combine to form a compelling narrative about courage, truth, and accountability. This is not merely a story of family conflict or organizational scandal. It is a lesson in the importance of ethical courage, the personal cost of integrity, and the fragility of justice in powerful, tightly controlled systems. As the legal processes continue and public scrutiny persists, the story of Joshua Brown, Joanie Lamb, and the Lamb family serves as a stark reminder of the human stakes behind headlines, and the essential role that independent voices play in uncovering the truth. This is a story that will continue to unfold, but Sylvia's testimony already marks a turning point. It highlights the power of ethical courage in the face of intimidation, the importance of independent verification, and the potential consequences for those who prioritize integrity over loyalty. The Lamb ministry saga offers a lesson for all of us. Truth is rarely simple, and maintaining integrity often comes at a personal and professional cost, but it is ultimately the foundation for accountability, justice, and transparency, even in the most complex and high-stakes environments.